Like Ed, I've been engaged in local matters for a long time, so I've seen a lot of city council members come and go. Every 2 years, we voters put a set of council candidates through the ringer, scrutinizing their words, actions, and connections, and looking for platforms that line up with our own priorities. But you've probably noticed here in Palo Alto that issue platforms, they don't really tell us much that helps us distinguish between the candidates. This year, for example, I think you'd be hard pressed to find any candidate, including Ed, whose priorities don't include tackling the COVID-19 budget challenges, finding meaningful ways to rectify systemic racism here at home, improving housing affordability and availability, and navigating our path toward climate sustainability and resilience. So the key question becomes whether they can actually get those shared priorities accomplished. We want candidates who bring ideas and strategies to the table, but the candidates we need are the ones that can get stuff done. For that, they have to know how the city works and navigate policy and governance frameworks that are pretty complex. They have to be able to find ways forward that both acknowledge and address competing interests in the community. And we all know there are plenty of those. And they have to be able to persuade a majority of their colleagues to get behind a specific course of action. Good ideas can easily fall by the wayside, and bad ones can take off when council members lack the experience, the skills, relationships, or the demeanor to effectively engage and influence their colleagues. High ideals, passion for a particular issue, or love of community are all great qualifications, but they simply aren't sufficient for running the $700 million organization called the City of Palo Alto. Council members must also bring to the table a skilled professional approach, nimble negotiating skills, and a good sense of both the strategic big picture and the nitty-gritty details of city government. Through a lifetime of service and over a decade of leadership on our city commissions, Ed has shown that he fits the bill exactly. He's responsive. He actually hears what residents say, bringing their concerns into the debate so that competing interests are represented. He's collaborative. He's earned the respect and endorsement of council members and colleagues across the ideological spectrum, opening the door for consensus solutions, not us against them entrenchment. He's strategic. He's shown consistent leadership in steering colleagues towards actionable strategies and feasible outcomes. And he's tested. He's shown across the board understanding of the city issues that affect us the most. He's built productive relationships with city staff, and he's proven his ability to hold them accountable for producing accurate and complete information and actually carrying out directives. Ed consistently comes to the table open-minded and thoughtfully prepared. He's both efficient and effective. And when debate is intense, even when debate is intense, he treats colleagues, staff, and the public with the utmost respect. So it's for good reason that Ed is the only city council candidate on the ballot who has the endorsement of all city council members who are sure to remain next year. They all want to work with Ed. Like them, I imagine, for me, this election is not about ideology or single issue litmus tests. It comes down to proven performance and trust. I want a city council members I can trust to do their homework and seek, hear, and respect the input and diverse perspectives of others. I want to trust that our city council members understand that few policy choices exist in a vacuum. Land use, congestion, environment, infrastructure, services, equity, they're all interconnected. And they all directly impact our daily lives. I want to trust that council members are committed to all those city needs, that they understand the city's role in defining them, and that they're mindful of how decisions in one policy area can create problematic impacts in others. I want to trust that our council members will effectively engage their colleagues and actually address the complex needs and interests of our community. I trust Ed. I enthusiastically support his candidacy, and I urge you to do the same by offering your endorsement and making a donation of whatever you can afford to help him reach more voters. It's an investment in our own future. So don't just leave it to others to step up and help. And of course, put up a yard sign, host a coffee, you know the drill. You can sign up for all of it on his website at edlowingforcitycouncil.com.
Oh, that video?
With social distancing, we're missing out on face-to-face and door-to-door contact with candidates. Instead, campaigns are basically stuck with virtual meetings like this and costly advertising, and they rely more than ever before on engaged voters like you and me to build support across our own personal networks. I'm really excited that Ed decided to run. He's been talking about it for years, and I think he picked just the right moment. You can trust Ed. He'll hear you and he'll get results. With that, I'm happy to turn it over to Ed so you can get to know him yourself.